All right, well, last time I had you in here, we were working on this big block Chevy. This guy here. And we had Stumpy come in for some work, I think. Might be wrong, I can't remember what the last thing I recorded was. So, we'll go from there. So here we are with a big block Chevy. We ran out of rod bearings for it, so we painted it instead, which it looks pretty good. Since then, I've painted the cylinder heads. They're laying right here. They're actually painted up nice. They look good. So now, let's assemble this joker and get it together. So now I want to finish putting pistons in, and then we'll go to putting the cylinder heads on, and timing cylinder heads and cam and everything else. And we'll just kind of see where we go from here. So bring you back in just a few. All right. So last time I had you, we were putting this block together. Since then, I've done some other stuff with it and some other stuff. I don't remember what we have and what we haven't recorded. So for the time being, we're going to take these nuts off right here. We'll set them right here on top of this other piston. The last thing I remember is I was checking bearings and we had like 14 and 18 thou. Well, I've got new bearings. I've checked a couple of these that we already had installed because I didn't pull them out. I just tapped them in and tapped them back out. So now let's drop this one in there and see what we get with it. All right, so as always, put just a little bit of assembly lubricant on this side of her. Except I missed the bearing. All right, put a little assembly lubricant on this side of the bearing. These are a nitride, I think it's a nitride coating. This is the only thing I could get on short notice. Everything else is 3 and 4, 5 months out. So I've been waiting on bearings for this motor for, I don't know, a week, probably a week. I ordered them on the, I think I've been waiting about 10 days. So, now for the rings, sometimes let's see if we can get away with cheating or not. Sometimes you can grab it with your hand, just like so, squeeze it and pop it. This one doesn't want to go down that way. So we'll have to get a, get the ring squeezer out. Hammer. Got him all the way down now. You know how the rod end goes. I've showed you that a few times. Alright, now we'll roll her over so we can check clearance on this one as well. And all 4 journals will be checked and we'll know where we're at. So let's grab this and move it off of here. All right, now let's roll this joker over. Make sure there's nothing up here that's going to get lost. Yep, nothing up there that's going to be lost. Uh-oh, what was that? That didn't sound good. I hope that, was it a fuel pump push rod? Is that what that was? Yep, fuel pump push rod. Forgot it was in the motor. All right, so we got this guy right here. See how that looks on the camera real quick. And so we're working on this guy right here. Looks like I'm gonna have to roll the crankshaft over a little bit. I didn't quite do my job properly. So that just kind of is what it is, I guess. There you go. Get her up high enough where I can work with it. We'll check that check the bearing real quick. The bearing's in the right where it belongs. Now, let me find some plastigauge. I'll bring you right back. All right, I'd like to take a quick brief intermission on the current project we're working on, just to ask y'all to like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment on the videos, as it helps the channel grow and lets me know what y'all like and don't like about the videos, as well as when you leave a comment, I'm guaranteed to reply because I reply to every comment left in the videos. So there you go. Let's now return to our current project. All right, here's the plastic gauge. We'll take and grab her about right here. We'll just tear us off a piece, just like so. We'll lay this on the block surface. Sorry, I'm looking through the camera, so actually I think I'm gonna come to the other side. All right, so you take you some plastic gauge, you open it up. There's what you end up with. Let's see if I can drop this real quick. Oh, look at that, laid right across it just like it's supposed to. You'll lay this right here because you'll use that for your gauge in a minute. Now we got to find the rod cap. All right, so you'll put the rod cap on there dry for this run, and put lock to lock. Oh, that's not lock to lock. Okay, it's still there. So then put it lock to lock. Run these down nice and even. Okay. We'll pull these up to like 40, 45, 50 foot-pounds, something like that. I think they're supposed to be torqued at about 50. Okay. Should be about 45 foot-pounds right there. All right. Alright, now, see how much of a pain this rod cap's going to be to get off, because they're not always friendly. Alright, after a little bit of jiggle joggle and finessing, we got the bearing cap loose. So now, let's see what kind of smash we got here. There she is right there. That'd be about 30. Alright, so we'll bring you in for a little close-up. I don't know how good you'll be able to see that. I won't be able to see it until I'm editing on the camera. So, but that should give you a good idea. And it shows she's right about 30. So, having said that, we'll scrape it off and put this rod cap together and then keep assembling this engine. Alright, and reassembling, we'll need a little bit of lube. As always, y'all know how much I like to make sure everything's lubed up here. And I think that's going to be the last bearing we're going to check, because that means I've checked one on every journal at this point, and they're all anywhere from 28 to 32, give or take, right around that area. And I'm very happy with that. This goes this direction right here. So, why is it not wanting to pull up? Did my dumb self put it on backwards? Piston's in proper. Let's take a quick peek. Let's see here, what's going on? Take this little screwdriver right here. Quit, leave me alone, you fly. So now, wall her back off real quick and double check that this bearing is in the cap correctly. It is. Double check this bearing is in his cap correctly. It is. So, keyway to the keyway. Okay. Now, rod nuts. Okay, where'd I put my crescent wrench? Alright, she should walk back and forth now. I have to rotate the motor. As all is good. Now let's take a quick feel of what the rest of it feels like. Good and smooth. Good and smooth all the way around it. Get number one up now, so we'll start right there. No need to rotate her any farther. Actually, I'll have to back her up just a little bit. Alright, now we can start on the other side. So we'll bring it back in a little bit. Probably not going to film any more putting in pistons. Y'all have watched a lot of that lately. So I appreciate it. So we'll bring it back. Alright, so what we're about to do is, now we've got all the pistons installed, got the crank installed, We're going to retorque everything. I think I've already torqued the crank on this motor once, but it doesn't hurt to retorque to be sure you're doing your job, because if you didn't do your job, big things and bad things happen. So we're going to start by torquing all the mains. If I recall correctly, the inside mains are 95, the outside mains are 110. The rods should be torqued somewhere around 50 to 55 foot-pounds with ARP lube. Right now they're just torqued pretty hand tight with a ratchet. I should have some ARP lube here somewhere. Here it is right here. ARP lube. So we'll need that for the head bolts anyway. So let's get to it. Let's start right here on the mains. So fire up the torque wrench. And it's set at 97. So apparently these are 95, 97 foot-pounds. Alright, now we're going to go up to 115 for the outers. Is it 115? Let me check real quick. Won't take me just a second. Okay, I pulled it up on my notes real quick because I wrote it down on my notes, and it's 110. So it's 110 on all the outers, 95 on the inners. So let's start right here and pull her down. Okay, now we'll do the rods. Rods are 55 foot-pounds, 50 to 55 foot-pounds, and we're going to put ARP lube on them. So give me a second, and I'll bring you right back. All right, since the spec is 50 to 53 foot-pounds, or 50 to 55, I'm going to sit in the middle and hit 53. So we'll crack both of these loose, back them both off some. And then you get the ARP lube out. You just take a little bit and we'll squirt it between the bolt and the thread and all right there. Get you a little bit on there right there, just like so. I probably should mix this stuff up before I cut the pack open. Look at that. Nasty old slimy stuff. We'll take the bolt off. There's plenty of it on that one. Ew, that stuff's runny. It's not typically that runny. Fastener lubricant, it says. I don't recall it being that runny. I thought it was thicker. Just for the fun of it, we're going to wipe some right here on the face of the bolt too, just because. Can't hurt nothing, right? Now we'll torque them. So now we'll run them two bolts up and we'll torque these at 55 foot-pounds, or I have a torque wrench set at 53. I have the torque wrench set at 53. So here we go. Pull them both up evenly first. There we go, got them both pulled up. Now let's hit it for torque. Oh, we might not be far enough up yet. Let's keep going till we're good. All right, here we go, torque up. Here she comes. There we go, 53. There she is. Now let's go to the next ones. All right, well, I'm guessing the bottom end now is assembled. We got the timing chain left to do, and I'll explain what I did with that in a minute. And that'll be it. So So the bottom of this motor is done. The mains are torqued. Rods are all torqued. We can put the oil pump on it, which I need to do. Let's do that. And then, yeah. So let's get the oil pump put on it real quick before we roll the motor over. And that way we can have everything in the bottom end torqued and done. All right, I'm sure I'm doing this the wrong way. I'm sure they actually make a tool for it. But this is how I do this. I get it started right here. Take your wrench and tap them around gently and just kind of walk around it. Just get her all started. And then the one thing that everybody's going to bitch, I'm sure, about, is I'll just drive it in from the side right here. Just slide right in. No problem. It makes a small flat spot on it. It's never affected anything for me. There she is. She's in. Like I said, it does put a small flat spot in the oil pickup tube. Like I said, I don't think it affects anything. Never had a problem with it. I'll set it where it goes, and then later on I'll make a strap for it. So there she is. All right, so there she is, all installed. We'll adjust this pickup for the pan in the near future, but I'm going to assume it's going to sit about like that right there. And as I said, my camera died right in the middle of that, so you'll tighten this down right here. No silicone, nothing needed. Just crank her down, and there she is. Oh, about to fall down. Okay, so that would be the bottom ends installed. The pump's not tight. I'm going to back that nut off a little bit more so this pump can waller around. Hold on. There it is. All right. And then what I'll do later is I will make a tab that will go from here to here. And I'll just I'll drill a hole in it here, and then drill a hole in there, and then spot weld this to that. And then that way it guarantees this pickup tube's not going nowhere, and it keeps it at the right angle too. Kind of does a few things for you, and keeps this pickup from lowering to the bottom of the pan and sucking the bottom of the pan, and you know, that kind of good stuff. So that's it.